And we are live. What's going on, guys? Hopefully you're all doing well. Just a quick little live stream. Nothing too serious, nothing too strenuous. We'll talk some boxing, as the episode title said, or says, I should say. We'll just wait for a few people to get in, and we'll fire away. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you're not getting into any trouble and keeping yourselves in good health. That's the main thing right now. But yeah, just let me sort a couple of bits out in the background. There we go. Awesome. Okay, there's Stream. Where's StreamYard gone? Fuck's sake. Bollocks. Oh, Christ. Have we frozen up again? I think we might have frozen up. Have we? Sorry about this, guys. Not again, man. Not again. Yes, big up to Jay's Boxing Universe every single time. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. How's it goes, Del? I'll warn you, I'm already a few points in right now. Cheers, mate. Yeah, big up, man. Big up. Don't blame you, mate. I really don't blame you. I could do with a couple right now, but got nothing in. Got a cup of tea, so that'll do. That'll have to do. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm not sure whether it's my internet, but StreamYard for me recently has been so laggy. Like, so laggy. It's unreal. Unreal. Maybe it's this PC. I need to get a new PC. I will get a new PC soon, actually, in the next few days, because I'm moving place soon anyway. So I'm going to get like new everything. So new PC coming soon. So hopefully not as many technical issues going forwards. Big up to Jim McDonald Boxing. The next month or so is going to be so fucking expensive. It's unreal, but it is what it is. Sometimes you need a change of scenery. You guys know how it is. Big up to Levi Khan on the chat. In the chat. What am I talking about, man? Big up to Levi. Oh, it's fucking StreamYard, man. Jesus. This is really peculiar. Right, let me get rid of all these tabs open in the background. That might sort it. Probably doesn't help. Probably doesn't help. Let me close this shit. All the porn I've got open, obviously. It's not porn, I can guarantee you that. It's more boring stuff. Okay. Yeah, we got that YouTube dough coming in. Got any condo high rise? I wish, bro. I wish, mate. I tell you what, where I live in the UK, like you don't get much for your money. Put it that way. It's super expensive around here, like super expensive. How far can we rate Adonis Stevenson? Had the potential, but didn't get the best fights. I agree, bro. That's how I see Adonis. I see Adonis has almost a wasted talent. I think in his prime could have beaten anybody in and around the division at that time. But obviously, we never saw those fights, so it's hard to really judge. But ultimately, my view of Adonis Stevenson is disappointment because there are so many good fights for him which he could have won. But you know, the fights never happened. I'm talking about Kovalev, Andre Ward. The Andre Ward one wasn't his fault. He wanted to fight Andre Ward, but Ward never really was interested. But yeah, the Kovalev one is the one that we all kind of talk about. And unfortunately, never happened. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I listen to a bit of Slow Tie, Jay's Boxing Universe. I do listen to a bit of him. He's hit and miss for me. He's got a unique kind of vibe about him. I don't mind him though. He's solid. Frank Leone versus Tommy Carpensi, America versus England, 2021 stadium fight. Fuck's sake. No slander against Adonis Stevenson will be tolerated. He didn't deserve what happened to him, even though he had his faults. Yeah, what happened to him was kind of crazy, man. Crazy. But good fighter, man. Very good fighter. Very dangerous fighter. I used to enjoy watching him fight back in the day. I used to enjoy watching him fight. Big up to James Matthew Nunn in the building. Every single time. Every single time. Big up to James. Great to see you as well, bro. I've got a cup of tea, as the stereotype goes. Enjoying a nice cup of tea. How do you see the Estrada-Gonzalez rematch going? I'm leaning towards Estrada in the slightest way, but I could change my mind in the next few days. It's one of those sort of fights. I'm really struggling on that one. It's why I've been putting off my prediction video for that fight for a reason, because ultimately I can't confidently set on one guy yet. And that goes to show how good of a fight it is, as far as I'm concerned. Goes to show it's a great fight. Miguel Cotto versus Aaron Pryor at 147. Who wins? I like the Cincy man, but the Puerto Rican may have been too tough. At 140, certainly I would have said Aaron Pryor. To me, Miguel Cotto was a lot more susceptible to getting hurt at 140 than 147. But at 147, which is what you've asked, I think you've got to go with Miguel Cotto based on the track record of what he did at welterweight in comparison to Pryor. So I guess I would say Miguel Cotto at 147, but I would go with Aaron Pryor at 140. Aaron Pryor at 140 was a menace. He really was. Relentless pressure, power. I know there was that question mark about the bottle in the Arguello fight, but he was a very, very relentless fighter. Ryan McRae, he disagrees. He says Stevenson deserved what happened to him after what he done to those underage girls. Funny how child abuse is all right if you're a boxer and all is forgiven if you get injured. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things for me. Like, I don't feel either way about it. I don't necessarily believe in karma. My theory on karma is, listen, if somebody does me wrong, I'm not going to wait on fate to get them back. I'd rather sort it myself. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not one of these people who kind of believe in the whole karma situation. But, I can understand why somebody feels that way. I don't really care either way, personally. I know that sounds probably heartless, but that's just my opinion. But as a fighter, which is what we're talking about, I think I did rate Adonis Stevenson. I did. Yeah, Chocolito is legend, man. Absolute legend. Hall of Famer, first ballot all day long. Big up to MMA champ. Who's a better talent, Estrada or Canelo? People try to say Estrada is way more skilled than Canelo, but I don't know. I think they are comparable in terms of skill, but Estrada doesn't get as many help. Like, he doesn't get as much help along the way, if that makes sense. But yeah, they are similarly skilled, in my opinion. Big up to MMA. Yeah, there's a lot about Adonis Stevenson out there. Some of it is unverified, but he was a pimp, or not even a pimp, but like he was muscle for a pimp or something like that. And yeah, he'd done some heinous stuff in his day. So yeah, whatever he did, I'm not entirely sure, but it was pretty messed up. I can say that much. But yeah, I would say they're quite similar, Jay's boxing universe, in terms of talent. Estrada just doesn't have that mainstream backing like Canelo does. They are kind of similar in terms of style in certain respects, but I'd say yeah, it's quite equal. You think a prime Marcos Maidana would have any success against the current crop at welterweight? I think he would lose to Crawford. I think he would lose to Errol Spence, but it could be a bit of a war. I think Spence would just be too big, too strong kind of thing. Even this version of Manny Pacquiao, I would favour him. I don't think he'd beat any of the top guys, but he would give some fun fights. He would give some fun fights, no doubt about it. Brandon Blanco. Shit. Yeah, they do. They come from tough backgrounds everywhere for the most part. For the most part. See, that would be a war, Brandon. Maidana versus Sean Porter. That would be an absolute war. Maidana's a bigger puncher, obviously, but I think Sean Porter might be physically stronger, like in the clinch up close. That'd be a hard fight to call, in my opinion. It would have been a great fight. Would have been a great fight. Big up to Josh Colgate in the building. Hopefully you're doing well, Josh. We've got a little debate in the chat here about Adonis Stevenson. Can you tell me a better pound-for-pound fighter than Pac-Man in his prime? 8 weight divisions. Isn't he the best pound-for-pound ever? Listen, you would have to ask the historians that question. What I will tell you is he's certainly the best pound-for-pound fighter I've seen in my lifetime since I've been following boxing. I'll tell you that much. But, I'm not one of these people who kind of rank fighters all time and all that sort of thing. I just know a great fighter when I see one, and that is Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest to ever do it, as far as I'm concerned. But I couldn't give you like a where he ranks or anything like that. I've never really been into that. Like even with pound for pound lists, I don't really create them. Never really been interested, to be honest. Beterbiev for knockout in round 3 or 4, I would say. Oh, which current top fighter needs an urgent change in trainer? Very good question. I think Daniel Dubois might be a shout, to be honest. I'm not really convinced about Martin Bowers with Daniel. Doesn't look like he's learnt too much in his last few fights. And obviously, he was woefully ill-prepared for Joyce. Maybe Dubois from a prospect standpoint. As for like world-class fighters, who needs to change trainer? Who needs to change trainer at world class? I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who I'm not convinced by is Ben Davison with Josh Taylor. I'm not convinced whatsoever. I'm not saying he should change because we don't know yet, but I'm not convinced about Ben Davison. I can tell you that much. Yes, big up to Faust. Big up to Del and everybody in the chat. Do you think Joyce has got the footwork and stamina to dance with Usyk? I do, yeah. I think Joe Joyce naturally is a real athlete. He's been doing various sports all his life. He carries his weight well, maintains a good work rate. Like even in a hard fight against Bryant Jennings, he maintained a pretty good work rate throughout. I've got no doubt that Joyce can keep up with Usyk in terms of stamina. Whether he can in terms of foot speed and agility is another question. And also, to me, how does Joe Joyce approach that fight? Is he gonna box behind the jab like he did against Daniel Dubois, or will he resume his pressure style, which I'm assuming he will do? Joe Joyce is actually quite versatile as a fighter. He'll adjust his game plan accordingly, which, in my opinion, makes him dangerous. Because you never know really what you're going to get with Joe Joyce. Sounds like a fucking Forrest Gump movie, but it's true. He's not as one-dimensional as people make out. He's quite educated in terms of tactics and game plan selection. He's a dangerous fight. He's a dangerous fight for Alexander Usyk. I'll tell you that much. I think he's very dangerous. I love that fight, by the way. Alexander Usyk, Joe Joyce. I love that fight. So hopefully it happens. Jay's Boxing Universe. I honestly think Porter gets zero credit. My old coach seriously bet Broner would beat him with me. Shows how much that dude knew about boxing. One of the easiest bets I've ever made, laugh out loud. Yeah, man. I mean, he does get discredited. People call him a swarmer, and people say he's got no skill. That's nonsense. Sean Porter's footwork is actually underrated. Closes the distance incredibly quickly. Have you seen his jab coming forwards? That kind of push power jab when he comes inside. It's a real good shot. He can smother you and work at the same time. Like stifle you on the inside when he's working. Sean Porter, yeah, he's kind of ungainly on the eye at times, but he does a lot well, in my opinion. And he's a great athlete as well. And he can box, by the way. People forget about Sean Porter. Early in his career, he used to box. He wasn't a pressure fighter. He switched it up a few fights into his career. He boxed at the start of his career. Go and watch his early fights on Showbox. Porter used to box a lot, and he can box. He's a good fighter. I agree. Jay's boxing universe. I agree. Rank these UK trainers: Don Charles, Dominic Ingle, Dave Caldwell. I say Dominic Ingle number 1, Dave Caldwell number 2, Don Charles number 3. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Josh. Like me personally, I can't compare him with these historic figures because I just don't have enough information on the guys from way back when. But in recent memory, to me, Manny Pacquiao, win, lose or draw, he's taken the most risks, gone through the most weight classes, and his resume, for better or worse, is unreal. His resume is crazy. Like he was a Hall of Famer before he went to 135. For Christ's sake, Morales, Barrera. You know, he had some great wins before going to 135, Manny Pacquiao. Great fighter, man. Big up to Simon Coulthard. Yes, exactly. Get the likes up for those Silicon Valley dweebs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Charles Martin's the greatest ever, pound for pound. Yeah, I'm not convinced either. Levi, with Ben Davison and Josh Taylor. Hopefully I'm wrong. Good shout. I never knew that, AA. Ben Davison has Lee Wood as well. He's fighting Reese Mold on the Warrington card. Be interesting to see how he looks. Yeah, I never knew Lee Wood was with Ben Davison. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's terrible. All I'm saying is the jury is out. The jury is out for me. Maybe he could go on to become a really good trainer. He seems to know his stuff when he talks about boxing. It's not like he's a complete noob. He knows his stuff to a point, but can he apply that to a world-class fighter, or can he apply that and improve current fighters? I'm not sure. Most overpaid current boxer, Terence Crawford, I would say. Isn't his guarantee like $3.5 million or $4 million when he generates fuck all? I would say Terence Crawford, as good as he is. I would say Terence Crawford. He is indeed. By the way, big up to Reality's voice. By the way, my light fucking just flickered and it scared the shit out of me. Thought I had a fucking ghost in here or something. Broner's fighting again in a few weeks. Somehow he lost about £50 for this one. Just had his third DUI and 9th child. So safe to say he'll need the cash. Yeah. No doubt about it. Listen, man, my financial listen, I won't add anything to it. Fuck it. Fuck Adrian Broner. My goal is to achieve energy levels like Max Holloway, so regardless of skill, I can't drown opponents. I can't drown opponents in sheer volume. You think this is a good way to go about it? Why not, bro? Why not? You know, volume and toughness can get you so far. Look at Antonio Margarito. He used to boil down to welterweight, and he would really utilize that to his advantage. Just a sea of punches in which his opponents couldn't keep up. More skilled opponents like Miguel Cotto, for example, it can definitely work. Exactly, MMA champ. It's not even that. I just want to see 50-50 fights and competitive fights. Whether they turn out to be boring or whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, on paper, I just want as many competitive fights as possible. Chris Lovejoy posted this morning that he's filed for bankruptcy. Quoted Don King as never paying him in 5 years. Says everyone in his circle let him down, but he'll make a comeback. Yeah, that's mad. It's mad. That's crazy. Big up to Chris Lovejoy. Oh, Chavez Jr., very good shout, Marcy D. I forgot about him. Chavez Jr., Christ. Yeah, man. How he got a Canelo fight, God only knows. And after that fight, he got fucking robbed by some fucking hookers as well. That's hilarious. Big up to George C. Don King's got his fingers on Dell's electricity supply now. No, I didn't, bro. I saw it on my feed, but I never clicked it, Simon. I didn't see it. I didn't see it, man. That's a shit fight, Levi. That's true. That's a shit fight. Nobody wants to see that shit. Brian Rose, he's been done for years now. MMA champ, I'm a fan of aggressive front foot fighters like AJ Crawford, Beterbiev, Julio Cesar Martinez, Casemiro. What style do you like, Del? I do also like I also like aggressive fighters who have technical ability. So Beterbiev, Golovkin, Errol Spence Jr., guys like that. They're my kind of favorite sort of fighters. I also like Julio Cesar Martinez, who you've mentioned, Naoya Inoue, Jamal Charlo. I like a lot of fighters. Jamal Charlo. There's a lot of fighters I like. There's a lot of fighters. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Omar Chavez is awful. Yeah, I'm not surprised either, MMA champ. I'm not surprised either. Do you think Alexander Usyk is the most skilled pro boxer at the moment? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. He's definitely within the top 5, top 6, no doubt about it. He's definitely in the top 5, top 6. But it's hard to really judge it, in my opinion. It's hard to really judge it. Pick's got Joyce stopping Alexander Usyk. Listen, man, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be completely shocked if that happened. I've doubted Joyce a couple of times, and he keeps on proving me wrong. So if that happens, I wouldn't be shocked. And he's got a chance in that fight, especially if it's in the UK. They're talking about that fight happening in April, believe it or not. That's what Joyce was saying. Can you imagine that fight happening in April? That'd be amazing. I'd pay for that shit. I'd pay for it, no doubt. Big up to Joe DC, man. Who do you think Callum Johnson should fight next? I rate him. It's a shame he's so inactive. Yeah, I agree. Very exciting fighter, and he's not getting any younger now. He's like 35, 36, so he needs to fight ASAP. Callum Johnson should fight Joshua Buatsi. That's the fight that should happen. Both guys are under the... Well, I'm not sure about Callum Johnson, but he's worked with Eddie Hearn a lot. That fight can be easily made. Buatsi versus Callum Johnson. It's a barn burner. Both guys can punch. Both guys are aggressive. They're going to meet in the ring and trade. It'll be a great fight. It'll be a great fight. It'll be whoever wins that fight can move on to maybe fight for a world title. That's the sort of fight we need in the domestic scene in the UK. Fights like Dubois versus Joyce, even Arthur versus Yard. These fights excite fans over here. And Buatsi versus Johnson would be a great fight. How did I score Rosado versus Jacobs? Believe it or not, I never actually watched it. I only saw the highlights, Jay's Boxing Universe. I only saw the highlights. I heard it was a terrible fight, and I never really watched the full fight. Chaz Witherspoon working as a financial analyst amidst pandemic, despite boxing Usyk last year, Mad Sport. Yeah, he's a smart cookie, Chaz Witherspoon, from what I've heard. He's a smart cookie. Who do you think the top guy at 130 is? Do you think the champions will have the opportunity to unify this year? Do I think the champions can unify this year? Probably not, to be honest with you, Packer. Probably not. But who's the best at 130? If all of these guys fought each other, right? Let's say we had a 6-month period, there was a tournament, and all of these guys fought each other. Believe it or not, I think Tank Davis comes out on top. I really do. I think Tank comes out on top. James Nunn, he said, I would love Joe Joyce to win. I've got a feeling about it. Yeah, it'll be a massive win. It'll be a massive win if he does it. It'll be a massive win. I don't think Usyk is... Sorry, Usyk is too fast for slow Joe. I think he'll catch Usyk with a jab a few times and some power punches, but his footwork is not good enough to beat Usyk. I don't know, man. I think he's deceiving Joe Joyce. He's very deceiving. First and foremost, I agree with you. His hands are slow, but his feet are not slow. Joe Joyce's feet actually are quicker than the average heavyweight, I would say. They're not like rapid or anything like that. They're not Tyson Fury feet or anything like that. But Joe Joyce can move relatively well in there and relatively quickly. Yes, big up to G-Man Boxing. Big up Del. Have Don King's people come knocking yet? Not yet, bro. My kneecaps are still intact. I've not been sued or anything like that. I'm not bankrupt like Chris Lovejoy. I'm okay at the minute. That's why I'm moving fucking place, G-Man. I'm shook of Don King coming to find me. Usyk is just a bad style for Joe. I don't see how he gets to him. They've both improved since the World Boxing Super Series. Yeah, they have, Team Groves. They have both improved, especially Joyce. I just think they've both changed so much now. 12-round format at heavyweight. First time was 5 rounds. It's going to be a different fight, in my opinion. I think it's going to be very competitive. I do believe it will go for decision. I'm leaning towards Usyk, but it's a hard fight. And let's be honest, going by the WBO rules, Alexander Usyk could sit on his Mando status and reject this because I would imagine he's legally, entitled to a title shot. I don't think he really has to take this fight, going by the WBO rules. So if he takes this fight, he deserves mad credit. He really does. Because obviously the WBO have that rule where if you're a champion in the weight below and you move up, you become Mando. Pick, he says, if Usyk wins, I think it will go down like the Gassier fight. A bit of domination, but I think Joyce will be too big, too strong. Could be. Marcy D, Usyk schools Joyce. He's a boxing genius. I think Usyk wins on points. Yeah, could happen. It could happen. Bro, Pick's got Joyce by late stoppage. Yes, big up to John Gonzalez, my favourite Texan every single time. Big up John. Big up John, man. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. Hopefully you're doing well. I think Berchelt's the best at 130 right now. I think he's second best. The more I watch of Miguel Berchelt, the more I think Tank Davis clips him and knocks him out. Offensively, Miguel Berchelt is a handful. He throws a lot of punches. He's got power in both hands. Nice uppercuts, nice body work. He can throw every punch in the book, and he keeps on coming forwards. But defensively, he leaves a lot of openings. If he can't hurt Tank Davis, he'll get knocked out, in my opinion. But Tank Davis himself gets touched up, and we've not seen him fight a puncher like Berchelt, so who knows? But I would say Tank Davis would beat Berchelt. See, that's a great fight, though. Miguel Berchelt, Tank Davis. Can you imagine? If Tank took that fight, I think everybody would give him credit. Anybody with a right mind would anyway. Can Josh Taylor be a force at 147? I think he's big enough, Jay, and I think he'll make some noise. Yeah, I think he can certainly give these guys a run for their money. Whether he can beat them or not, I'm not entirely sure yet. For me, Levi, best knockout was Povetkin knocking out Dillian White. Because obviously, in the Tank Davis fight, Tank Davis was a big favourite. Everybody expected him to win that fight. Povetkin was losing the Dillian White fight, got dropped twice, passed his best, and he still pulled it out. And to me, the setup was so much better as well in Povetkin's favour. Like, Povetkin set that knockout up, whereas kind of Leo Santa Cruz just gave it away more so. So I'm going to go Povetkin. Who do you think the best is at heavyweight? Right now, like in terms of pure rankings, Tyson Fury, but like we need to wait until that fight happens to really be sure. So yeah, in terms of pure rankings, Tyson Fury, but yeah, it's up in the air really. Joyce top 5 in the world, that's my opinion. Listen, man, I think he beats a lot of guys in the top 10 pound for pound boxing. I certainly believe he can get to that level. Exactly, pound for pound boxing. Not many heavyweights of his size have that sort of gas tank where he can throw that amount of punches per round and keep a consistent work rate. I think he needs to pressure Faust. He needs to try and I've got a phone call here. Who's that? Got no idea who that is. But yeah, so I think Joyce needs to apply the pressure game, come in behind the jab, and try and replicate what Chisora did, obviously, but obviously with more size and more strength. I think he needs to try and make it a rough house fight. Lean on him, push him back, maul him, try and tire Usyk out, try and fill those legs with lead, kind of thing, slide him down, and then try and pressure him. But knowing Joe Joyce, he could do something completely different. Yeah, that's another good shout, actually. The Cepeda versus Baranchik knockout. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Yeah, it was. And especially considering what sort of fight that was. Both guys getting dropped hard, and then obviously Cepeda just finishing it with just a nasty left hand. And the way Baranchik fell also was crazy, on his leg kind of thing, where his leg bent back. It's crazy. MMA champ, he says White's chin is gone. That uppercut is his kryptonite. He doesn't have the footwork or defense to beat Fury or AJ in a rematch. I would agree with that, MMA champ. So MMA champ, got something stuck in my throat. Jesus. I agree. I think, and as he goes on now, I think you're going to see Dillian White get hurt more and more. He's been getting hurt a lot recently, and obviously in his last fight he got knocked out. I think you're going to see Dillian get hurt more and more as he progresses, because he gets hit a lot and flush and hard. Hrgovic clarts Dillian White. It could happen, bro. Again, Filip Hrgovic, he needs to step up. Even Martin Bakole would be perfectly acceptable for me. I want to see Filip Hrgovic, actually start climbing the ranks now. He's had his gimme fights against the subpar competition. Now he needs to step up, and I think Martin Bakole is a good start to that. I really do. I think we will pound for pound boxing. I think Frank Warren needs to get him out. So I think we will. Yeah, I think we will. Probably mid year, I would say June, July kind of time. That's when we'll see him back. Yes, a good shout, Simon. You need to hire some Kinahan protection for your channel. They can fix your copyright strikes. Yeah, maybe I need to get in touch with MTK and try and get a gig with them. Try and get a commentary gig or something like that, or like a fucking advisor. See, I was saying about this the other day in regards to this channel. Like, I would have no interest whatsoever in working in boxing journalism, none at all. Because to me, the boxing journalists out there right now, they really are the bottom of the barrel in terms of sport journos. And to me, it just doesn't interest me. It doesn't interest me interviewing fighters or anything like that. I would talk to a fighter on a live stream, but I wouldn't interview him, if that makes sense. I would have a conversation, but wouldn't interview. That doesn't interest me. However, working in boxing would be something I'd be interested in, like matchmaking or something like that. That's what I'd be interested in if I had to work in boxing. It'd be matchmaking. Top 5 prospects. Hassan Boy Dusmatov is one. Bektemir Melekuziev, another. Jeron Ennis, another. Virgil Ortiz, another. Who's the fifth one, though? Who's the fifth one? Who's number 5? Number 5, I'm not sure, to be honest. But those 4 guys I mentioned are people I'm very excited about. Yeah, I agree, Faust. I think Joyce needs to go for Usyk's body, try and slow down Usyk's legs. Exactly, bro. Yeah, try and keep Usyk more stationary. Yeah, put lead into those legs, kind of thing. Slow him down. I agree. I'm so sick of waiting for Gilberto Ramirez to show how talented he is. Such a victim for the boxing business. Yeah, I've said this numerous times. I rate Gilberto Ramirez more than most people do. He's one of those fighters who's tall and rangy. He does all of the basics well. Southpaw, nice tight guard, good long punches. He does all of the basics well, and in my opinion, he'll give most guys a decent fight at 175. I think he's good. And yeah, you're right. I want to see him fight more regularly and fight better competition. You're right. I want to see him step it up as well. He's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. In hindsight, MMA champ, that is probably his best win. He's beat Maxim Vlasov, Jesse Hart, and a shot Arthur Abraham. They're his three best wins right now. So pick. I always say it like this: pick right now. If they fought tomorrow, Artur Beterbiev. However, Beterbiev is 35, 36 years old. 12 months' time, my answer probably is completely different. So yeah, the sooner it happens, the more I favour Beterbiev. The longer we wait, the more I would favour Bivol. Why does Dillian White call himself maximum violence? His style has zero violence. I wouldn't say that. I'd say Dillian is relatively aggressive, and he has scored some good knockouts, but he was on the end of it, man. He was on the end of maximum violence back in August, man. But yeah, he's a fan friendly fighter. Goes for the knockout. He's vulnerable. I think it kind of works for Dillian, to be honest. That kind of moniker, I think it kind of works. I don't hold that against him, to be honest. And I'm not a big Dillian fan. I used to be a big Dillian fan back in the day, until like all of the bullshit he started to spew, along with his fans. But I used to like Dillian. And listen, man, I like watching Dillian fight, despite what I say. I don't mind watching Dillian fight. Big up to that guy in the building. Beterbiev is one of the most ducked fighters I've ever seen. I've got him stopping everybody at the moment. Yeah, right now at light heavyweight, I'd favour him over everybody. But it's just his age, his inactivity, and his injuries as well. That's what's stopping Beterbiev really progressing. But I remember one time when Beterbiev was due a mandatory in the IBF, and all of his Mandos ducked him, basically. None of the Mandos would even fight him. The IBF went down in the rankings, and nobody would fight him. Imagine that. Imagine being a mandatory and ducking the champion. Joyce looks so much better now compared... Joyce looks so much better now compared to that Ami fight with Usyk. I agree, that guy. He's improved a lot. And for me, another important factor is Joe Joyce is with Ismail Salas, who is the perfect trainer for Joe Joyce. You know, to me, that guy brings out the best of Joyce. I think their chemistry is perfect. And by the way, also, I wanted to shout out Steve Broughton, who trained Joyce on the night of Dubois, obviously because Salas wasn't there. Steve Broughton is a really good assistant coach, by the way. He's got a big future in boxing in the UK as a trainer, Steve Broughton, in my opinion. Is it just me, or has Dillian's chin got worse over time? He took shots in the AJ fight fine, which would KO him now. Yeah, I've noticed it as well as he's gone on, and as he's fought at high level competition more and more, he has been getting hurt more and more. And the problem is, he does take a lot of shots and he takes them flush and hard. So I think naturally his chin is always going to get slightly worse with each fight. And after that Povetkin knockout, who knows what state it's in? Who knows? But I can't see it. I can't see it getting any better. Put it that way. I really can't. Big up to LR. Thoughts on Sam Jones? Just subbed. Thank you very much, LR. Sam Jones, listen, he's a bit of a troll. Knows how to get attention, but he seems to work well for his fighters. I'll say that much. I thought he done a great job with Joe Joyce pre-Dubois. Really pumped his man up. Got a lot of people interested. He's a bit annoying. He's a bit cringy, but I think he does his job. I've not heard any of his fighters try to get away from him or badmouth him, so that's a good sign in regards to his fighters. So yeah, he's okay. He's okay. You can tell Alan Babbage has chipped down Dillian's chin over the sparring camps. Laugh out loud. Yeah, boxing brains. For me, that's a decent fight for Alan Babbage. Nick Webb. That's a decent fight for him. Nick Webb can crack a little bit. Why not? Why not? There's a strong group of Uzbek fighters all under the agent Vladimir Kornilov, based in the US, Melekuziev and Dustinmatov included. Yeah, there's some great talent from that part of the world coming out now. They've been doing well in the amateurs for years now. Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. These countries have been doing well in the amateurs for years, and these guys now are starting to turn pro. You're going to see more and more guys from Central Asia really making noise in boxing. Melekuziev's going to be one, in my opinion. Dusmatov another. Obviously, Akhmadaliev, already a unified champion in 7 fights. That's crazy. There's a lot of talent from that part of the world. They're amongst the best amateurs in the world, up there with Cuba, Ukraine. They've got a great system out there. Great system. Big up to Ross Charlton. Thoughts on Dennis Hobson? Listen, he's a trier. He's worked with some big names like Ricky Hatton, Clinton Woods, obviously. Yeah, man, he's a boxing man. I would assume Dennis Hobson. I've got no problems, and he's still trying now. So fair enough to him, man. Fair enough to him. The way White fell back from from the Povetkin uppercut was hilarious. Yeah, you just made me laugh when I read it out. I think David Haye has a good future in promoting. That man can talk for days. I reckon he'll grow into a bigger role once Frank calls it a day. Maybe pick, maybe, but he actually had his own promotional company when he was fighting Haymaker Promotions, and it never really went anywhere. Um, but yeah, maybe. I think David Haye would make a better manager pick than a promoter. Like just a few clients, like he's doing with Chisora. I think David Haye's done a great job with Chisora, by the way. Great job. But I think that's what David Haye's going to be better at, is being a manager more so than an actual promoter. David Fisher, Fury and AJ should vacate for the Lucas Brown Dave Allen rematch. Why not, man? Yeah, Janibek. Yeah, Janibek, another one. And by the way, he fucking beat up Anthony Fowler in the amateurs, so what's not to like? What's not to like there? He fucked up Anthony Fowler. Proper tucked him in. Del, have you seen Dave Allen's recent pics? 20 stone and talking about getting in shape just in case. Nick Webb rematch coming. Yeah, Dave Allen. Listen, Dave Allen isn't retired. He'll come back for the right payday. You know, that's why he's keep on dropping the hints. I'm not interested whatsoever in Dave Allen. No interest whatsoever. Just, I mean, whatever. Dave Allen, man. Dave Allen. You know Dave Allen just infuriates me at this stage. All credit to him. He's made some money. He's got a couple of houses. That's great. But listen, I'm bored of a story now. I'm bored of a story. What's going on at middleweight? There has been zero talks of Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, I heard some talk of Golovkin versus Munguia, Johnny Cash. That's all I've really been hearing in regards to Golovkin. There was a little rumor of Andrade Golovkin, but nothing in stone, nothing tangible or anything. Liam Williams versus Andrade might happen next, though. Purse bids are being ordered, so that could happen. But yeah, middleweight right now is kind of dead, isn't it? There's some good fights to be made, but none of them are happening. George C. I was high on Nick Webb, but lost interest after the manner of his losses. Like his style, though, yeah. He's an aggressive dude. No chin, no defense. He's fun to watch, Nick Webb. Thoughts on Florian Marku? He's a fun fighter. I like watching him fight. I like his shtick, but I think he's very limited. Put it that way. I think he's very limited. He might lose to Ryan Charlton, to be honest. I see that as 50-50. But we'll find out a bit more about him in that fight. Yeah, there's a lot of those guys coming from that part of the world pick. Yeah, Daniel Yulusanov as well. Yep, like I said, Dusmatov, Akhmadaliev, Madrimov. You know, all of these guys. Jalalov, Melakuziev. There's a lot of guys from that part of the world coming out now and really making a name for themselves. I rate him, that guy, as a prospect. I think he's very interesting. A heavyweight who works the body is always interesting to me. Nice hand speed, nice punch output, good combination puncher. Seems to have decent power as well. Yeah, he seems to be a very good prospect. Very good prospect. Not the biggest heavyweight in the world, but he's got a lot of talent there. I've seen him switch hit as well, which heavyweights don't usually do. I think Honey's a good prospect. Florian Marku comes across as a massive prick. Hope Charlton sparks him out. Yeah, he does come across a bit, out there. I ain't gonna lie, but I kind of like it. He's kind of funny to me. Yeah, as I said earlier, yeah, none of these unification fights are going to happen at middleweight anytime soon. I think the best we'll get is Andrade versus Williams and Golovkin versus Munguia. And I like those fights as well. So I got no problem. Yeah, Dave Allen, the man who had all of the opportunities and tossed them in the bin. Yeah. Yes, big up to official scorecard boxing science. Dave Allen slurs already, poor bugger. Human punching bag inspiring, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember him, Boxing Brains. Carl the Fridge Baker, yeah. I remember that. uh, yeah, I recall that, G-Man. It was Matthew Macklin. Every single time Yulustinov fought, Matthew Macklin went in on him. Absolutely went in on him. Yeah, I remember that, G-Man. Yulustinov, though, I'll be honest, though, Yulustinov early in his pro career really didn't look all that impressive. But in his last couple of fights, I can't lie, he's looked a lot better. Another one is who do you call him? Shakram Gyasov, another guy from that area, that part of the world, sorry. Another good prospect. I want to see the Price man take out Alan again. I'm with you, John. I'm with you, John. I'd watch it. I got so much enjoyment from that fight, John. You won't understand. My man David Price was pulling the fucking shoulder roll, the plumber shoulder roll, and he was jabbing Dave Allen's head off, man. Bro, great performance by David Price. Beautiful stuff to see. Nicholas Webb versus David Price would be a good fight. Yeah, man, it'll be a fun fight, Ross. It'll be a fun fight. I would take David Price, but it'll be a fun fight. Evening, Delboy lad. Do you think Helenius can beat Kaunaki again by knockout? Absolutely. With Kaunaki's defense, absolutely. He can time Kaunaki coming in and walk him onto another big shot and knock him out. He can definitely knock him out again. But for some reason, I got a feeling Kaunaki's going to win the rematch. Just a feeling I've got, a gut feeling. Yeah, Alan was chief sparring for Klitschko, Joshua, and Fury for years, even before he even boxed on telly. Fucked himself up by being a punching bag from the off. Must have taken hundreds of beatings. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Yeah, I've not seen it, G-Man. I've not seen it. I was going to watch it, but when I tried to find it today, it wasn't there anymore. So I'm not sure what he did or what he said. Do you agree that Tyron Booth's milk piss bottles is the YouTube moment of the year? Yeah, I couldn't believe he did that when I first watched his stream. I couldn't believe it. It's fucking hilarious. No doubt, LR, man. No doubt. Listen. Florian attracts so many fans to his fights. It's unreal. Like his Instagram is like just crazy big. You know, he attracts a lot of fans, and that's a good thing. Especially when there was live crowds. Like the Albanian fans, when I saw Florian Marku fight, I think it was on a Frank Warren card, and I saw him fight, and the atmosphere was crazy, and it was like a 6-rounder. So yeah, Florian Marku has top support. There's no doubt about it. He's got top support, and he's got a country behind him. It's like Briadis in Latvia. Like when Briadis fights in Latvia, he gets so much support, man. It's nice to see. It's always good to see like boxers from different parts of the world, you know, attract people to the sport. That's always good. It's always good. Yeah, I rate him. Josh Colgate, very fun fighter, really enjoyable style. Sometimes I think he does a bit too much. Needs to calm it down a little bit. Takes a lot of risks, and he could come unstuck. But you know, he's got great athletic ability, good punching power, good speed. He's got a lot of natural ingredients to be a great fighter, and he's a very good prospect. Very good prospect. Probably Mr. Steal Your Wife, more than likely. More than likely. I think Billy Joe can trouble. Billy Joe probably is going to trouble him for like the first 3 or 4 rounds with the southpaw style, the movement, etc. But I think eventually Billy Joe is going to slow down a little bit, and Canelo then is going to have his way with him, basically. But yeah, I'd probably, mate, probably. That was it. Yeah, I remember when Dave Allen, like this was like 2014, 2015, when he was being interviewed by Ingram Jones on Bayloric TV, like years ago. It might have been 2013 actually, like years and years ago. I recall him being interviewed by like Bayloric and that, and yeah. There's a lot of people high on Rylan for whatever reason, ignoring the fact that Rylan drew with a 5-5 away fighter. Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly, LR. That is true. That's why I see it as a 50-50 fight. I see both guys as kind of unproven. And like Rylan Charlton, yeah, he looked good against Joseph Laws, but let's be honest, Joe Laws was terrible. I've got no doubt Florian Marku would have done a similar job. He would have destroyed Joe Laws, in my opinion. Okay, okay, e-machines. That's yeah. I'm gonna highlight this comments over chat and see, but I'm not gonna read it out. Dell felt like Mr. Universe when Pricey beat Allen. I was so pissed I missed that fight. I would have been it would have been glorious to watch it live. Yeah, man, it's crazy. No, I actually never watched it live though. I watched it the next day, but I was so happy when I found out. So happy when I found out. I went to the O2 for Dubois versus Gorman, and there was about 12K there. Literally 5,000 Albanians just turned up for a six-rounder just before. That's crazy, man. Yeah, he's got a great fan base. He's got a great fan base. Yeah, so Gennady Golovkin, what is it? His dad's Russian and his mum's Korean, or the other way round. He's like half and half, something like that. I think his mum's it's either his mum's Russian or his dad's Russian, and the other one's Korean. I love Usyk, but he's really small at heavyweight. Yeah, he is. He is. I think he's got the ability though to still trouble these guys and beat most of them. To be honest, but I think Joyce man's a real hard fight. I really do. That's a real hard fight, man. Exactly, G man. I never rated Joe Laws. I saw that guy fight. He done all of those interviews saying he knocked out Devin Haney in sparring. Yeah, then he fought on Sky Sports against some random I think it was some Ghanaian journeyman, and he looked horrendous, like absolutely awful, awful. Kid you not, probably like some kids in my old gym, amateurs could probably beat him. He looked that bad to me. He looked terrible. Like if he can be a boxer, there's no reason why we can't become boxers if we're young enough. I'm 26 here. Give me a year boxing, I'll be better than Joe Laws, and I would knock him out. uh, yeah, Jamie Stewart actually showed a lot of heart in that fight. I felt he lost, to be honest. LR. I felt Jamie Stewart lost to Marku, but he showed a good chin. I'll give him that much. Yeah, his mum. Yeah, his mum's half Korean. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Do you think? Sorry, do you think now that Canelo has left De La Hoya, he'll no longer have that one guaranteed 118, 110 scorecard to fall back on? Maybe Simon, maybe, but who knows? And especially now he doesn't have like a long-term TV deal, so he's got a two-fight deal with the Zone. When you don't have that kind of long-term security, maybe you're right. Maybe he is less likely to have these advantages to the extent in which he has them. That could be a possibility, Simon. That could be a possibility, and it's worth considering. It's worth considering. Yeah, I agree, bro. I agree. Very dislikable. Yeah, I knew it's something like that, J Dev. Some fighters you shouldn't try and aggravate them pre-fight her. Guys like White and Babbage, it's probably best to play the nice guy. Maybe. that fucking username. Fuck's sake. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Gee, man, I'll happily try and make 147 to fight Joe Laws. Listen, bruv, you probably knock him out, mate. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Joe Laws. Listen, he's a fighter. He takes his risks. He takes his lumps. Fair play to him, but he's a gobshite, and he's a gobshite. Do you think Chisora's going to beat Parker? It's a hard one, man. In terms of pure ability, Parker should be beating Chisora, but Parker's not got that mean streak, man, and that's always going to let him down. Chisora does, but even Chisora, man, he's got that kind of hot and cold syndrome where sometimes he looks awful and sometimes he's really up for it. So it all depends on what Chisora turns up in regards to that fight. But I'd probably lean towards Parker, but not confident. Not confident. Canelo doesn't even need the advantages. He's levels above clear. Yeah, exactly. He's a world-class fighter, and yeah, a lot of that has tarnished his legacy, in my opinion. No offense to the boxing purists, but I would laugh my head off if Joyce sparks your boy Usyk. Yeah, man, it could happen, man. It's heavyweight boxing. It could happen. Stranger things have happened, bro. Joyce is a very dangerous fight for Usyk. Very dangerous. Because I think Joyce can do what Chisora did to a better level, with more intensity, with a greater punch output, with more strength. I really do. It's a hard fight. It's a hard fight. That's a yeah. Mate, that guy. I don't like that fight. Sorry, Plant versus Durrell. No, thank you. No, thank you. Has to be fucking Plant Benavidez, in my opinion. Plant Benavidez makes sense to me. Nah, I'm not a fan of that fight. Not a fan at all of that fight. See, that's another fight I really, really want to see. Canelo versus Benavidez. Yeah, that'd be a fun fight. Benavidez would force that fight. He'd try and make Canelo fight with him. Benavidez is very aggressive, man. Throws a lot of punches, hand speed, power, size. He'll go for it. Exactly, bro. Exactly, yeah. I agree, G-Man. The sad thing, Laws will get chances because he's a character. You could be shit, but if you're allowed and sell tickets, promoters will take you. Exactly, bro. That's a lot what's wrong with this sport in general. Certain guys who can't sell tickets, maybe really talented, but they're not gonna get those breaks. Whereas a gobshot like Joe Laws can't really fight to any real level, but he gets these opportunities. Yeah, you're right. Best bookies for boxing. I use Paddy Power, James Nunn. I use Paddy Power for boxing usually. Not all the time, actually. I use Paddy Power. Maybe we need to get a Paddy Power affiliate link on the channel so I can tell you guys to bet. Gamble responsibly. Charlo recently got exposed twice. Which one? Jamal Charlo? Yeah, apparently he turned down fights with Canelo and Andrade, which he definitely turned down the Andrade fight, according to reports. And Oscar said he turned down the Canelo fight, so that's not a good look. Not a good look at all. Yeah, I'd love that fight, John. That'd be a great fight for Gassiev. That would tell us where he's at heavyweight. And Chisora's going to force the fight as well, make it interesting. That'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting. It'd be a fun fight. Funny how Berlanga is getting a lot of attention, but Benavidez none. He's a two-time world champion, unbeaten, and younger than Berlanga, I think. Yeah, I think Benavidez is a lot more. He's a lot more talented than Berlanga. Berlanga seems like a strong kid, but all I've really seen is power. I've not seen a great jab or blaring hand speed, the ability to box on the back foot, or anything like that. I've just seen a strong kid who can crack. Benavidez has shown me a lot more raw potential. I wish, bro. I might try and get one. But we'll see. I know Paddy Power do offer you like an affiliate link. I'm sure they do. I would have to look. Yeah, I want an affiliate link with MTK, 2K21. That's what I want. Needing another good tip from you. 10% commission still applies. Mate, at one point, David Avanesian was the favourite against Josh Kelly. And I think Josh Kelly in that scenario is good value. I really do. But it's not anymore. I think Josh Kelly's a slight favourite as of last time I checked. It's a hard fight to call, that one. I agree, Ricardo. I agree. I think he'll be exposed when he steps up. I'm not sold on him either, pound for pound boxing, but like against Avanesian, anything close is going to go to Josh Kelly. And I think Josh Kelly's elusive enough and defensively sound enough to not get knocked out. And he'll make it competitive enough to where he can maybe get a decision. So, yeah, I'll probably go with Josh Kelly. Well, I have gone with Josh Kelly in my prediction video. I've gone with Josh Kelly on points, close competitive points win. Yeah, they do. They do, pick. They do. But I think Balanga, I'm not convinced. Not convinced whatsoever. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Listen, if he proves me wrong, it wouldn't be the first time I've been proved wrong in regards to boxing. It's happened many a time, and it will happen a ton more, like loads more times. That is what it is. I'm very interested, LR. Very interested. I've heard a lot of good things about him in the trade. Um, Seems like a big lump. Be interesting. Not really sure what to expect. Just really going by on word of mouth what other people say. So I need to see his pro debut, which is soon actually. It's always good though to see young heavyweights turn over in the UK. It's always good. Hopefully he does well. I think we need some more talent coming through. And hopefully also Fraser Clark from the amateurs. Hopefully he turns pro soon in the UK, because he's now like 30, 31. He needs to really get these Olympics out of the way and turn pro straight away, similar to Joyce, and step up quickly. Oh yeah, that'll be the ultimate troll advert, wouldn't it? If I could get a Det KO advert and I'll do the fucking voiceover, that'll be hilarious. That'll be hilarious. Ah, that's a great idea, Faust. That's a great idea. Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Det KO. Oh dear. He does, yeah. He seems quite sensible, Johnny Fisher. Speaks really well. Yeah, he does. I agree. Is that true, Levi? If that is true, that's a good second fight. Boxing brains, these guys are all struggling to make weight. I reckon Fowler is struggling too. He's massive for 154. Him versus Sergio Garcia is a good fight. I think it's a good fight, boxing brains, but I'm sure Sergio Garcia's moved up. He's actually gone up to middleweight now. But yeah, if they thought it would have been a good fight, I would have favoured Sergio Garcia based on his boxing. I think he's a better boxer. He's more active with his shots. Fowler kind of loads up one punch at a time. I could see him getting outworked in that fight, to be honest. Exactly, pick. Exactly, pick. Yeah, the only thing was, I think the Det KO advert, in all honesty, I think that the Det KO advert kind of deserved a bit of hate just because the week before he was kind of promoting betting, and the week after he's promoting like a Det KO company kind of thing. It's a bit, you know what I mean? Like me personally, I joke around. Would I would I see I would do a betting sponsor, no doubt whatsoever, but I wouldn't do Det KO in all seriousness. I wouldn't do both. And I wouldn't do Det KO anyway, or any debt management company. It doesn't fit with a channel. I wouldn't have any sponsor that doesn't fit with this channel. I've been offered like a few sponsors on like only like 3 or 4 times, not many times, but I've been offered sponsorships. So one was like a shirt printing company where you can like customize a shirt, get a print. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe a business like t-shirt or something. But again, that doesn't fit with the channel for me. So no, I wouldn't take any sponsorship. Something like fitness related in regards to boxing would work, betting would work. So anything like that would work. But yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people who just takes the first fucking sponsorship that comes up. Like I'm talking like they come up every week, which they don't. Who's Fowler's next fight? He's dating some 40-year-old mum with kids of her own. Proper weirdo, that Fowler. He is. He is. He's fighting some random Spaniard next, I believe. Yes, big up to Stephen Schneider in the building, part of the BDA family. Big up to Stephen every single time. Hopefully you're doing well, bro. Hopefully you're keeping well. Oh, I would favour a Cole to beat Trevor Bryan at heavyweight, no doubt. No doubt whatsoever. Trevor Bryan to me looked really poor. Looked fat, out of shape, basic as hell. His jab was okay. He moved okay, but didn't do anything special. To me, he looks very beatable. Trevor Bryan looks very beatable. Just an average heavyweight kind of thing. Very average. By the way, lads, if you could smash the like, it'd be much appreciated. Be much appreciated. See, when you ask me these questions, man, I always want to fucking divulge into these sort of topics because I'm that way inclined, like in regards to like conspiracies and shit like that. But I'm not going to comment. But I do believe there's another famous Jason who has worked with the BBC for decades who is a nonce. See, that's not liable. That's not liable. That is just, you know. He could be E-Machines. He could be. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. The reason why that is pushed is just to really, that's really to discredit, in my opinion anyway. I think things like that are pushed into the mainstream to really kind of discredit divergent thinkers. You know, basically, it's used as a weapon to label anybody who asks questions as like a fucking conspiracy theorist, weirdo, tinfoil hat wearing goon. But some people just like asking questions, like me. Like things like flat Earth is bullshit. QAnon, in my opinion, complete bullshit. More than likely a CIA psyop. It's just a tool to discredit, you know, people from asking questions. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Yeah, I agree. Insect Man. I do as well. They're funny as hell. Some of them are funny. Some of them are hilarious. It's like a real horrible subject matter, but some of those stings are really funny. Believe it or not, yeah, like years and years ago, like this must have been, when did I leave college? 2013, it would have been. Me and my friends had the idea of doing that, basically making a YouTube channel and basically pretending to be children, organizing to meet with the guy who's talking to the children and then basically recording, put them on YouTube. We had that idea years ago, but we never done it. So we could have been like pioneers, man, but we fucking ballsed it up. We ballsed it up. Didn't they find some human bones in Adam Booth's basement? You mean Adam Smith? You mean Adam Smith, man? Although Adam Booth's a weirdo in his own right, in my opinion. He seems like a bit of a weirdo. Yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies with 9/11 Insect Man. Like the terrorist's passport miraculously was found intact. You know, like the odds of that happening. The odds of that happening. Yet the heat from a fire collapsed World Trade. What was it? World Trade Center #7. But the heat from a fire collapsed that building. But a passport in a fucking plane explosion miraculously survives. Okay, okay. And look at the Wall Street trading before the attack. Very suspicious. Again, nobody's gave any reason for the suspicious trading before 9/11. Just so many convenience, like so many coincidences. Sorry, in regards to 9/11, it's just silly, man. Silly. Yeah, exactly, bro. It looked fishy to me. It looked very fishy to me. Very fishy. And again, what happened to the steel from the World Trade Center? Why wasn't the steel examined? You know, forensically examined, like under a fucking fine tooth comb. No, it was sold to fucking China, like straight away with no examination at all. What's that about? Like the biggest terrorist attack in US history, thousands of people dead, and you don't do a proper investigation in regards to everything? Come on now. Come on. I bet Dell would turn down a Weight Watchers advert. They're basically his mortal enemy. Look at this, man. Look at this. I knew one of these Dell likes fat girl jokes would come up soon with Jay Jav in the building. Big up to Mark, man. Adam Booth doesn't sniff seats, but you can tell he sniffs female bodybuilders' knickers after they have protein farts. That's grim, man. That's grim. Now I'm sober as anything, Levi Khan. I've got a nice cup of what is this? Tetley's tea. You know, I'm sober as anything. Sober as anything. Straight edge. But I do genuinely believe, like 9/11, we will never find out like the full extent of 9/11. Whether it's I'm not saying it was even a controlled demolition or anything like that. To me, it looked like one. But all I'm saying is the authorities knew a lot more about that attack, like prior to it, and the attack happening worked in their favor. You know, that's all I will say. That's all I will say. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. And be like, yeah, I won't get into it. That's why I paid this fucking. There was this documentary in the UK, on the BBC about boxing and the mob. I think it was titled. I've not even watched that yet. I just got no respect whatsoever for the BBC. I know what it's going to be before I watch it. It's going to be some fucking souped up hit piece. Not even real journalism. It's going to be absolute shit. Absolute shit. You know, and look at what the BBC have done in the past few decades, man. From the Jimmy Savile cover up to like the poor journalism in regards to the Iraq War, just going along with a government narrative. The BBC are a fucking government organization anyway, so they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted, man. Yeah, BBC with a pedo statue. Yeah, exactly. You just got to look at the coincidences in all of these like scenarios. There's just so many, like in regards to 9/11 and things like events like that. It's crazy. I believe in a coincidence, but not multiple coincidences. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. Maybe people look for things that are not there, but I just don't buy it, man. It's not like the US haven't used false flag attacks in the past, because they have. And same as the UK and most of these first world countries or governments in general. False flag attacks are nothing uncommon. Yeah, MPs in the UK, at one point it was rife with child abuse in the 70s and 80s. Both Conservatives and Labour. Conservatives, it was like Ted Heath, Leon Britton. You know, these guys were no nonsense. People in the party knew. Like Edwina Curry basically admitted they knew, and then nothing got done about it. Yet people still worship these fucking politicians as the ones who are going to save their lives when they can't even fucking protect children. That's why I can't stand people who are like pro Labour, pro Conservatives. None of these people are going to make a difference to our lives. Like, this country needs a severe shake-up in terms of the political system, because basically it's a two-party system in the UK. Labour, Conservative, and they're both terrible. They're both absolutely terrible. Let this country down time and time again. He is indeed, Jeff. Yeah, he is indeed. He's a conspiracy theorist. The wildest conspiracy is like flat Earth level, Jeff. His conspiracy is flat Earth level. So, but yeah, man. I do plan on talking about the conspiracy stuff more often, but I've got ideas for the second channel. One idea I had, right, for the second channel, it was going to be like a current events channel where we talk about the world and crazy goings on and whatnot. I've got an idea. I was thinking about doing a channel on serial killers. No word of a lie. Things like that. I don't know. Do you know what? I'm not really listening to anything right now, Faust. I'm not really listening to anything. Nothing new, anyway. Nothing new. Yeah, exactly. E-machines, exactly. James Nunn, Labour, yeah, in the UK, they are no longer a party for they're not a party for the working man anymore. They are just a party based off student politics, identity politics, and their whole ideology to me is poison. Um, Put it this way: the last general election, yeah, could you imagine a time when mining towns would vote Conservative? Working class mining towns in the UK voting Conservative would be unheard of years ago. But Labour now have gone so far left that, like the working class now, like working class people now primarily vote Conservative in the UK because Labour have gone so far left. It just they don't. Yeah, it's madness. Madness. Like the working class in this country really do not have a party to vote for. I don't have a party to vote for because the Tories, they are what they are. We all know about the Tories. I'll never vote Tories. I'll never vote Labour. I voted for one time in my life. One time in my life. That's it. So it's not worth doing. Not worth doing at all. But yeah, this country needs a strong shake-up of some kind. But it's not going to happen, It's not going to happen. Exactly, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny G, the YouTube slasher. Yo, John Gonzalez. Yeah, go out there. Yeah, do a little crime spree, and I'll make you the premier season debut of a channel. Yeah, I agree, Ian. I think Princess Diana was killed. Obviously, so she in the mid-90s, the royal family in the UK basically were seen as like they were viewed at like an all-time low in the mid-90s, the royal family. And Princess Diana, after she left the royal family, was almost bigger than the royal family. Everybody loved Diana in the UK, and she made the royal family look bad. But also, Princess Diana at the time was she was she was involved in a charity which basically petitioned against landmines in poor countries. They would dig the landmines up and make the ground safe. And obviously in the UK, we was the biggest landmine producer in the world at that time. And a lot of people were becoming aware of how brutal landmines are, they are. And that cost those people a lot of money. So she was costing people money. She made the royal family look bad, and she had to go. She had to go. And also, yeah, again, we talk about coincidences. None of the cameras in the tunnel in which she crashed worked. Again, not one worked. Come on, man. It's funny, isn't it? When something happens in the powers that be's favour, there's all of these coincidences and strange goings on that can never be explained. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so I was thinking like serial killer stuff. Just crazy events like crazy murders or fucking, shit like that. I was thinking about doing something like that in kind of like a story time fashion, I guess. It's hard to explain, but I'm into all of that stuff anyway. Yeah, I was watching a documentary on the Ripper Crew today. Very interesting, very interesting. The leader of the Ripper Crew, Robin Gett, I think his name is. Believe this, yeah, he was actually employed by John Wayne Gacy, the leader of a Ripper Crew. He was employed by John Wayne Gacy for a short period of time. And by the way, John Wayne Gacy and the Ripper Crew, that whole clique, is a very good topic because there's more to that story than meets the eye, in my opinion, or more to those stories than meets the eye. Some people say John Wayne Gacy had a lot more powerful ties than people realize. It's an interesting one. Very interesting. I don't really know him unrivaled. In all honesty, I know who he is. Like I know who he is, but I don't know much about him. Don't know much about him. Yeah, I've seen that. E-machines. I've heard that. Yeah, was listening to Ike, and he said Diana was a sacrifice to the demons. She had to die in the tunnel. That's why the ambulance were not allowed in there for like 30 minutes. And I believe E-machines. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the ambulance took the long way as well. When they got Diana, it went the longer way to the hospital. Again, all of these coincidences that they can't. You know what I mean? All of these, yeah. I'm gonna side with G-Man. I'm gonna take G-Man's word for it. She was having a relationship with a Muslim man, which I believe is a no-no in the Royals. Also, the ambulance should have got Diana to the hospital in 10, but they took a 40-minute route instead. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, G-Man. Yeah, they took the longer route. All the cameras in the tunnel were off. It's madness, man. It's madness. There's a lot of just devious, horrible people in this world, man. I think the gap between what people think they know and what really goes on in the world is so large, people would not get their head around it. Like genuinely. Genuinely. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna watch the rest of this Chelsea Tottenham game. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Um if you could smash the like, be much appreciated. And yeah, man, we'll continue to upload and keep this channel going, and hopefully we'll get a bit more diversified and make some more channels. I said channels there. Fuck me, I've not done the second channel yet. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Peace.